to my channel and to another reading vlog. I actually got a camera for Christmas, so this is my first video being filmed on camera instead of on my phone, so hopefully the quality is good. To be honest, my phone camera was pretty good. I feel like I got away with like filming normally on that, but I just wanted to see how different it would be like filming on an actual camera, and hopefully you can hear me okay as well because I don't have a microphone yet, but I think the audio should be fine. But yeah, in this reading vlog I have one main book I want to get to. If you didn't see my last reading vlog, which I actually just finished filming today, I started a book called Grave Empire and I got about, I think, 150-ish pages into it, and I am absolutely loving this so far, so I'm going to continue this in this vlog because I'm loving it so much I just really want to document my reading journey with it. But basically this is a high fantasy book that's also a bit of horror as well, and it's set in this empire where there's a lot of political unrest, and we follow two main characters. There's some other like point of views as well, but it's mainly these two. And the first is Peter, and he is from a wealthy family and they've actually bought him a place in the military, and he's just going to like serve for about 2 years and then he's going to sell his position and return to normal life. But because his parents didn't fork out that much money on the position, he's kind of like drawn the short straw and he's sent to the far east of this empire into this really, really remote military base that's based on this island, and it's surrounded by this really creepy forest as well. And on his first day there, when he's travelling to the garrison through the forest, he actually stumbles across this murder scene where basically 3 bodies are just completely destroyed and he has no clue what's happened, so things get off to a pretty bad start. And when he arrives at the base, he's kind of warned by his bosses that some very odd things happen at night in this place, and his first night there he wakes up to this screaming and howling and weeping, which sounds human, but yeah, he can't figure out who's doing it, and he finds out it's coming from the forest and it's been happening for a long time here and no one really knows what's happening, who's screaming, like what's going on. It's all very creepy and there's definitely some suspicious things happening. And then the other main character, Renata, she is back in Peter's home city called Sova, which is kind of like in the middle of this empire, and she is like a political representative for mer people or mermen, and yeah, she works for the government. And then one day these 2 monks come to one of the mayors of the city with this prophecy that they think is finally coming true called the Great Silence, where basically all people who practice magic can no longer communicate with like the dead or spirits, either because they've all been wiped out or because they've fled from something to another astral plane where they can't communicate with living beings anymore. Either way, something bad is happening, and Renata is tasked with travelling to find the mer people because they're more connected to magic than the people of Sova are. People of Sova don't really practice magic, but they know that the mer people do, so they might have some answers about what's going on with the Great Silence. So those are the 2 main characters so far. The plot lines are so separate right now, and I don't know if they're going to converge at any point. I mean, I'm 150 pages in, and yeah, the 2 storylines don't seem to match at all, but I have a feeling they're going to have like something in common. There's something like affecting both storylines and maybe they'll meet at some point, I don't know. But either way, I'm absolutely loving this so far. I haven't been this obsessed with a fantasy book in a long time, so I'm really excited about this because this year so far has been quite bad for reading. I had like 3 really mid-reads at the start of the year, and then my reading has picked up since then. Hopefully this can be my first 5-star read of the year. My plans for today are I want to go into Waterstones and read my book for a bit there, and also do some book shopping and have a browse and see if there's anything I want to pick up, so I will take you along with me. So I am back from Waterstones now, and first of all, I do have a book haul because I bought one book, even though I didn't think I would buy a book, but this one I was eyeing up for a while, and yeah, I just caved and bought it, and that is Leech by Hiron Enes, and I've read another book by this author. It was like a 2025 release called The Works of Vermin, and that was probably like my 5th favourite read of 2025. I was absolutely obsessed with that book. So this is the author's first book, and I've heard really good things about this. A lot of people who didn't love Works of Vermin absolutely loved this, so I'm thinking that because I love The Works of Vermin, hopefully I'll love this too. I'm not sure. But yeah, this just sounds really creepy. And the one thing that sold this for me is that the plot seems to be about this really creepy thing called the Institute, which apparently like possesses people but claims it's like for the better good or to help these people. That's all I really know about that, but I have been obsessed with the TV show Severance, and for some reason when I read that, it just kind of reminded me of a little bit of the concept of that TV show. And because I'm so obsessed with that, I was like, oh, maybe it'll remind me of Severance and I'll love it. That's my logic with that one. I also bought a bookmark, and it's just this really cute like kitchen scene with, I think it's a little mouse or a little fox or something doing the dishes. I just think this is so cute, and I've just been obsessed with buying cute bookmarks recently, so I also bought this. So yeah, that is my book haul from Waterstones. To give a little update on Grave Empire, I've got another like 40 pages in, so I'm on page 186, and I'm really liking the direction it's taken so far, because I think what I said in my like intro clip is that I was interested to see how the plot lines converged, because I didn't really see any similarities between the two stories. I mean, you have like one guy who's at the very east of the Empire in a very isolated like military base. There's like horror elements happening, some sort of creature in the forest killing people. Like it's all very weird and kind of horror leaning. But then you have the other main character who's traveling south in this empire, and she's like trying to find the Mer people to like get information from them about like a potential end of the world. And then you actually have another character as well who's only had 2 chapters so far. There's like, I think I'm maybe about 11 or 12 chapters in. I'm 12 chapters in. Yeah, and he's only had 2 chapters so far, so he isn't as the main character as the other 2, but he definitely does have like his own plotline going on, and he's actually travelling north in this empire. So we kind of have 3 people on 3 different parts of the empire, and the past 2 chapters have kind of established things that are happening in all 3. So at first, only Peter's plotline had the kind of mysterious wailing from the forest and like the horror elements. But in the last chapter, when we got Renata's point of view, when she's travelling south, she also starts to hear the screaming. Even though she's not surrounded by this forest, she's nowhere near the forest where Peter is. Yeah, she is also starting to hear the screaming, and all the villages that they come across, like her and her expedition troop, they're all abandoned and like eerily quiet, and something strange is going on. And then we follow this third character who is this like rich count. He starts to travel north because he wants to figure out about this plague that's taken over the north of the empire. And like the other 2 characters, he starts to hear screaming and wailing in the night. And also all the villages he explores as well are also abandoned, like in the south. So there's definitely something going on in the whole of the empire. I think it's all coming from where Peter is at the east. I think he's in like the epicenter of it, and it's spreading throughout the empire. But I'm loving how it's all seeming to connect so far. I hope the characters meet up somehow, even though they don't know each other exist. Like they're all on completely different journeys, but I just would love to see how it all comes together. I'm so excited. I'm loving this book so far. I think the sequel comes out next month, or maybe the month after, and I have requested an ARC copy, so hopefully I get that, fingers crossed, but who knows. If I don't, I won't have to wait that long anyway. But yeah, I am just absolutely loving this so far, so I really want to get a decent amount of way through it tonight. So I actually only read another like 35 pages of this last night, so I don't really have much of an update because things are kind of like staying in the same place as they were when I last updated. But I'm actually going to go to a coffee shop and grab some lunch, and I'm going to take this with me, and hopefully I can get like a decent amount way through while I'm there, because I just love switching up where I read, so I'm going to take you along with me. Back from the coffee shop now. I was just taking some content for some shorts and also for my Bookstagram, where I was basically just taking pictures and videos for my February TBR, and obviously. I have Grave Empire in it. I read like another 30 pages of this, actually. It's probably more than that because it was 3 chapters. It was exactly 40 pages I got rid of this. And now I'm going to tidy this up. I'm actually going to grab a snack and then I think I'm going to try and lock in and get... This might sound ambitious, but maybe 100 pages done before I have to make dinner. I just really want to get almost to the end today. My goal actually was to finish the book yesterday but the past 2 days I only read like 20 to 50 pages each day. So I made much less progress than I thought I was going to. So I kind of like want to get near the end, if not finish it today. But I don't know how possible that is. Like I'm pretty much free for the rest of the day. So I definitely could do it. Like it's physically possible. I just don't know if I have it in me. But we'll see. I'm going to try and get 100 pages done before I have dinner in a few hours. And then maybe just spend the rest of the night reading. I have officially about 250 pages left, which is quite a lot. I've only read 260 pages of the book, and that was in like 3 days, I think I read that. But if I really put my mind to it, I can definitely get that done. I literally have hours, so we'll see. So I actually finished Grave Empire last night. I just completely locked in and binged the last 250 pages of this. I could not put it down. There's a few times where I contemplated just like going to bed and finishing it in the morning, but I just couldn't put it down. I was so invested in this. So I ended up completely finishing this book, which is like 509 pages, and I desperately need the sequel now. This is getting 5 stars. Immediately, it's my favourite book of the year so far. Like I know we're only like 1 month into the year, but yeah, this is definitely on the list of my top 10 reads of the year, and I'm sure it still will be by the end of the year. I was just obsessed with this book. Like the plot, I don't think there was a single chapter where I wasn't at least somewhat entertained. The ending was great as well. I just loved the kind of reveals. There wasn't necessarily like a huge plot twist or anything, but like the plot did kind of unravel and some of my questions were answered, but also I still have so many questions left as well. And I'm nervous for book 2. Not that I won't like it, but that I'll be stressed by it because things did not end well for the characters at the end of book 1. So now I'm just really nervous for the kind of state that they're going to be in book 2. I also loved how horrific this book was in terms of like the scariness and the horror, because this book was marketed to me as like a horror and fantasy, and I feel like that happens a lot in books where you pick it up and there's like slightly eerie scenes or like slightly gross scenes, but you wouldn't really consider it a horror, whereas this was actually like horrific. It definitely is a mix between fantasy and horror, which I absolutely loved. It was so eerie and spooky and descriptive and yeah, just gross at times, and I just absolutely loved it. I still have so many questions which hopefully will get answered in book 2 or 3 because I think it's going to be a trilogy, but yeah, I am so excited to read it. Book 2 doesn't come out for another like almost 2 months, which I'm quite lucky because that isn't that long. Like this book came out a year ago, so people who read it right away have had to wait over a year. But yeah, hopefully I can get my hands on that soon. But yeah, I'm also wanting to pick up the original trilogy by this author because apparently this trilogy here is connected to his like original trilogy. I think it's called something like The Empire of the Wolf or something like that, and it's set 200 years before this, but people have said that you don't have to read that to read this. Like there's not that many spoilers for that series in here. It's more just like Easter eggs and hints to the previous series, but because I love this one so much, I do think I will pick up that series eventually. But yeah, I would call this a very successful reading vlog. I had one amazing 5-star read, and even though I didn't read anything else, I'm not that bothered because I loved the book that I did read so much, and also because it's a really chunky book, so I wasn't expecting to be able to pick up that many other things. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you've read this book or any of the author's other books and if they're any good and if I should check them out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.